Hi everybody, John with Citizen Survival Plan here today. I want to talk about the top mistakes I made when I start prepping. A lot of money was wasted and a lot of time and just some aggravation on just having equipment that didn't work and doing stuff that caused issues. So let's just get right into it. The first thing that comes up in preparing all the time is bug-out bags. So when I was first starting to prepare, I would pack a bug-out bag and I would add stuff to it and be like, oh, that's too heavy. And I'd pull stuff out and I'd put stuff back in. And it just never, ever seemed to be what I wanted because it's not really possible. If you watch this channel enough, have known that I do not like bug-out bags. I think they give people a false sense of being prepared. And people think that they can pack a bag and live long term. Now, more and more in the comments, I have seen people say they're for 72 hours, and this is my train of thought. They are for a very short amount of time to get you from point A to point B. Now, what happened though now is people are calling them inch bags, and I want people to be aware of this because it's basically the same thing as people pack these bags and they have water filters and all this stuff in them, but they can't sustain you for more than 72 hours. A bag is just a bag. You can put some stuff in it and it can keep you going for a little while, but eventually you need to get to infrastructure and to resupply points to keep going and living, especially if you have children. The bug-out bag is just such a bad idea for families to plan that way. So if you're going to pack a bag, at least keep it realistic. Pack some water filters, pack some stuff you need, some food and a way to cook it, or ready to eat stuff. As long as it's realistic and you can really look at that bag and be like, okay, I can use all of this equipment without needing other stuff, and I can eat and drink water and I'll be good to get to where I need to go. That is what's important, not trying to put everything you'll ever need in it. Alright, this one I can go on forever about, but cheap gear you get off the internet, specifically sites like Amazon. I know people have been buying prepping equipment from like Temu, if I'm pronouncing that right. I've never been on it, but like Wish.com or whatever, like these junk sites. So this is huge because most people who are new to prepping will Google or go online and search up bug-out bag or preparedness bag or something, and you'll get all these search results for garbage, in my opinion. It's all trash. These pre-packed bags, and they're stuffed with blades and gizmos and like compasses and a lot of stuff that I just don't think you're going to use, or it's half useful equipment. Multi-tool stuff. A multi-tool, in my opinion, are just tools that are really good for nothing. And this is a lot of what I see on Amazon, these pre-packed junk bags. And the other one is those like mini survival in a tin kits. They are awful, and I've ordered them before, like when I was really new to this. And most of it is just thrown out now. I just threw it in the garbage. A lot of it's just like these little tins packed with string and fishing equipment you'll never use. And it is just worthless. If you're gonna pack a bug-out bag or a 72-hour bag, you need to go to reputable sites and use good equipment, like try Midway USA or Brownells or Sportsman's Guide. Go on there, get some good equipment, and pack your own bag. You need to pack your own bug-out bag specific to you with your clothes and everything in it. Don't buy a pre-packed bag. Another big one on the Amazon stuff is sights and mounts for your AR-15, electronic sights. I'll picture one here that I have that's just trash, like True Glow and some other stuff. A lot of it is like this Chinese junk that is copies of other equipment done at a fraction of the price. It never works. The mounts always come loose, or they strip, or just something happens to them. It never works out. Getting really good optics and mounts is going to be important, and staying off Amazon is probably a good idea. All right, this one's been a controversial one on my channel, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's just because people haven't bought it, or they bought something else and they're just mad now that I'm bringing up this point. but avoid the cheap freeze-dried food. Specifically sites like My Patriot Supply or For Patriots. They always have like this patriotic name to them. There's probably more than that, but I like to stick to Mountain House because the food cooks directly in the bag. I had bought some Wise Company. That was another one of them. And this was early on in preparing. And I looked at it and I was like, well, if the power's out and I don't have a lot of running water and I need to eat, I'm going to have to empty the contents of these meals into pots and pans while there's no running water, dirty up the kitchen and dishes and whatnot, and cook. This is not helpful in an emergency at all. On this channel, I always try and push people to the simplest possible solutions to things. Mountain House freeze-dried meals that cook in the bag. I'm sure there's other brands. My favorite is just Mountain House. I like the taste and whatnot the best. It's just good. And it's been a tried and true product for a long time. But being able just to dump boiling water into a pouch and eat right out of it and collapse that bag, put it in a bin, and making minimal garbage is going to be the best way to go. Watch out when you put these huge orders in with these companies for their freeze-dried food that will not cook in the bag. It is going to be less helpful. I know the other one is more expensive, but it's worth it. Trust me on this one. Not being a well-rounded prepper. So this one was a big one for me early on. I kind of was into guns before I was into prepping, but when things start getting kind of weirder in this country and I was sort of thinking about it more and more, I was always like, well, I have so many guns, I'm fine. Well, not necessarily. It doesn't really help to have a ton of guns if you can't filter water, drink, keep yourself clean, or eat. So, yeah, and maybe some people just aren't there. The first thing they gravitated to was firearms because they are kind of the cooler part of prepping. Everyone loves to go to the range and stuff and shoot and have a good time. But having guns is actually just a small part of being prepared, not really a huge part of it. It's a staple in it, but it's not everything. There is so many people that the way they prepare is just to have guns. Having tons of guns, hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition, and not being prepared in any other way. Not understanding how to use a radio, a GMRS or a ham radio. Not having water filters. This is a big one. These people have night vision and stuff. They have no water filters. They're ready to fight a war, but couldn't filter a drop of water if they had to. This is a terrible way to prepare, in my opinion. And I made a video about this, but some of these people's plan is to just take whatever they need from other people. And I always bring up the fact, when are you going to actually carry that out? What if the power just goes out for a week and you're knee deep into raiding your neighbor, all of a sudden the power comes back on? You are going to stand trial. Raiding people and attacking other people for their supplies is a very, very bad idea. Also, I want to point out that by the time you're going to start raiding people, when this emergency hits, whatever it might be, terrorist attack, large-scale power outage, whatever it is, keep in mind, you're going to be hungry and thirsty by the time you are going to start raiding people. So you're going to be attacking people that have guns, water, food, and other things, and are living comfortably, not delirious from starvation, that you're going to be fighting while you're in a bad state of mind. So consider that. Get some real gear. Stop buying guns. On this channel, I talk about a lot of radio stuff. Having a GMRS radio or ham radio or just good communications is an excellent preparation to make. Communications is going to be king. When I first started this, I would go to, and this was back when Radio Shack was still in existence. This is probably before I was preparing, but I was into radios. I really wanted like a good set of radios. And I went to Radio Shack, and I know Best Buy had them, and I would buy those bubble packs of radios that said, 35 miles, which they won't do anything. These are called FRS radios, the Family Radio Service. And it sucks. It offers, I would say those radios are maybe 1 to 2 watts max. They have a fixed antenna on them, and they offer no range. I know if you're watching this and you've bought one of these, you know that they go nowhere. You can't reach anybody with them. This is because of their limited power and limited antenna. Also, you can't use a repeater with FRS service. If you want to know how a repeater works or interested in it, use the search function on my channel. I have a ton of radio content, especially about repeaters. But get into GMRS radios. They are basically the FRS radios on steroids. They offer up to 5 watts on your handheld, and if you want to go really high power, you can get 50 watts on the base stations, like the BTEC GMRS 50X1 or X2. So you can put external antennas on your house, and you can really reach out. I can reach my whole town on about 5 watts of power with an antenna on top of my house. We live in like a probably 15 or 20 mile radius. I can reach really far around my town on very low power with a GMRS radio service. The license is $35. I would just get it. That way you can test your equipment and use it before the emergency hits. Practicing with your equipment is always advised here. Buying a house in town or in a city. So I bought my house a couple years ago, and if I were to do it all over again, I would probably move somewhere a little bit more rural. I live kind of in town. It's semi-rural. There's farm fields around us and stuff. But if I were to do it all over again, I probably wouldn't move into a neighborhood. So if you're prepping and you're getting ready for, what's probably to come, especially this coming up election, and you are buying a house currently, and you are somebody who is considering prepping, don't move into the city. It's not a good idea. One thing I've had to do to remedy this is we've actually bought some property out of our town in another state that's close enough that I can get to. But if I were to do it all over again, I might just not buy the home where I'm living. This doesn't make things impossible, but certainly can make them more difficult. This is a small one, but causes much frustration. Not using lithium batteries in your emergency equipment. So when you put your flashlights and your radios or whatever you have back, and it takes batteries, do not put alkaline batteries in them. They always end up blowing up, especially the Duracell batteries. I'm going to go out here on this video and make it known. Duracell is the worst battery of all time. Every time I've ever put a Duracell in anything, even not prepping equipment, they just blow up. So if you're going to use alkaline batteries, at least stay away from Duracell. But the best thing to do is to put lithium batteries in your equipment that you're storing. Your headsets, your flashlights, radios, etc. This will keep it charged up and ready to go, and it won't blow up, ruining your equipment. I stored some of my flashlights in my chest rigs with alkaline batteries, and I went to go pull them out of storage and use them at the range and stuff, and I kind of just went through the stuff. It was all exploded, and it ruined some of my gear. This costs more money than just buying lithium batteries. I know they're expensive, but it's worth it when you're putting the gear away for storage. A final message before I close this video out: only preparing for yourself is not a good idea. If you're watching this video, you're the one who's probably been chosen by the universe or God or the powers that be to prepare for the people around you that you care about. This is a niche group of people that we are. The other people around you probably aren't going to prepare the way you are, especially if you're sitting here watching this video and you've made it this far through. Have extra gear to upfit your friends. Have extra food for your family. Don't pack bags just to bug out or go live by yourself. You have to take care of the other people family members and children in your family. You are also going to need help doing this. Having extra chest rigs, guns, ammo, and radio equipment, and just gear for a buddy to help you out who has not prepared is going to be better than you going at it alone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.